Let's talk about the unmasking issue and the potential DACA deal with Fox News senior judicial analyst Judge Andrew Napolitano and Bill McGurn, Main Street columnist for the Wall Street Journal. Gentlemen, thanks for being here. The unmasking thing, you know, not a lot of coverage about this today, but it is a big story.
It's a huge story. It's consistent with the president's allegations. And the unmasking seems to have occurred at about the same time that mysteriously portions of a transcript of a telephone conversation between General Mike Flynn, then President-elect Donald Trump's national security advisor, and Vladimir Kislyak, then the Russian ambassador to the United States, mysteriously appeared in the Washington Post. That almost is the linchpin that started the ball rolling to what's going on between the Russians and the Trump people. On top of that, I don't want to bury the lead. To me, the lead is that Susan Rice knew, and presumably her boss, President Obama, knew, that President-elect Trump and his people were being surveilled in Trump Tower in the era before he was president of the United States, and she knew how to take advantage of that.
Bill?
Yeah, I think, look, first of all, a lot of people in Washington owe Devin Nunes an apology when he came out with this charge that senior Obama officials were unmasking members of the Trump campaign. He was treated as a kook, and he's been proved right. Look, Susan Rice said she knew nothing about it, nothing. And now she's saying it's because she was interested in a sheik. Let's put this in a context. What she did is you get intelligence reports with names redacted, right, classified reports. You pretty much know that this is going to be a Trump campaign official when you don't know which one it is when you get it. But this isn't asking in the blind. I think the idea that they're going to let her off the hook for this flimsy answer, and also the American people have to ask themselves, are we comfortable with this fact of senior people in one administration looking in on people in the incoming administration?
This should be a subject matter for Special Counsel Mueller to investigate. This is part of the whole parcel of, was there some involvement with the Russians? Was there some involvement with the Obama administration trying to make it look like there was involvement between the transition team and the Russians?
And clearly, there are lawmakers calling for that investigation to continue up on Capitol Hill. I want to turn to the DACA deal, no deal, whatever it is. Clearly, the Democrats believe that they have the president agreeing to this. And remember this from Steve Bannon on 60 Minutes over the weekend.
I'm worried about losing the House now because of DACA. And my fear is that with this 6 months downrange, if we have another huge, if this goes all the way down to its logical conclusion in February and March, it will be a civil war inside the Republican Party that will be every bit as vitriolic as 2013. And to me, doing that in the springboard of primary season for 2018 is extremely unwise.
Bill, I mean, it's not yet maybe full-blown civil war, but Ann Coulter's not holding back on
right.
Twitter and others.
Look, I think the president behaved sensibly. I think, first of all, the first thing that he did right is to return the issue to Congress. This was an unconstitutional use of executive authority. It wasn't even an executive order, I think. And even President Obama knows that because he, former constitutional law professor, who said he didn't have the power before he exerted it. So that's one thing. It goes back to where it belongs. Second, I think a lot of people were unrealistic. We can have tighter border security. We can have a wall. We can have all sorts of things. I think it was unrealistic to expect that we're going to expel a lot of these people who came here as children, didn't make the decision themselves, and are now integrated in different parts. The question is always, what is the trade-off? What will the president get for that in Congress?
And, you know, there's a lot of people, obviously, on the right who are really invested in this immigration issue talking about this, Judge. But there are also people saying, you know what, this president is doing deals, and that's not a bad thing.
Right. I mean, I was originally angry when Jeff Sessions made the announcement. I thought the timing was terrible right at the tail end of Harvey and before Irma hit. I thought it would impair the ability of DACA people here, young adults who came as children, fearful of seeking government aid at a matter of life and death in Houston. But I now think the president was up to something. I think his timing was very significant. I think he did this for the reason that you just articulated. Knowledgeable of the fact that the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals has found it unconstitutional on solid legal ground, basically saying you want these people who are basically Americanized to stay here, I want something in return. And that's what he's going to try and get from Congress.
We'll see where this deal goes. Judge, Bill, thank you.
Pleasure.
Thanks, Sean.